All right, I'm going to call this meeting to order. Jen, meeting notice verification? All right, thanks. Bob Golnick, do you want to lead us in the pledge?
To the flag of the United States of America, the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Bob Menard, do you want to give us our mission statement?
To serve with passion, to ignite creativity, innovation, and excellence.
Thank you. Roll call, we've got 6 of the 7 board members, 1 excused, and Ryan's team has a night off. Look for a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. Second.
All right, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And we have an agenda. We'll move on to reports. Item A, District Strategic Initiatives Update by the Superintendent Management Team. Board, do we have questions on those reports? Anything that we want to call out?
Do we got to redo the ANOLA policy for nutrition?
We'll get to some of that wording when we get to the policy committee, so that'll be a little while yet. So it was just, I think what you're referring to was a mark due to the audit with the non-discrimination agreement, non-discrimination statement. And so I have a meeting set up with Emily here either at the end of this week or the beginning of next week, and we'll talk about that. And my team is currently going over the new legal recommended changes on policies, and so that will just get incorporated in with that when we bring it to the policy committee.
Okay, good question, Tom. What other questions do we have?
Hearing none, I'll leave, there's a lot of stuff going on with students, so I'll leave those up to both Jessa and Brennan. But there's also been a lot going on in the district here the last couple of weeks as well. Last week, obviously, the weather was, I'm sorry, the weather was awfully chilly, and it was a good time to have parent-teacher conferences at the elementary school and the middle school. There's no better recipe for a long week with long evenings, and then you include indoor recess with students all week because of the below zero temperatures outside. But our teachers at both the elementary school and the middle school do a fantastic job. The book fair was going on over at the elementary school, which is a great fundraiser for our PTO. And I know they have some plans for those things as well. Despite the cold temperatures, last Thursday was winter wellness at the middle school where students went all over the place throughout the state. We had kids going to the Dells to go to a water park. We had students that were skiing and doing tubing at Fort McCoy. I had the privilege of being with a handful of parents and about 35 kids out on the ice out on Lake Onalaska. The fish weren't biting all that well, but the kids had fun. And then we had students that were bowling and a jump start and everything else. And that's something that has become an annual tradition at the middle school. And it's a great activity for our kids. It gets them out and about. You know, it's hard to believe. A year ago, we weren't able to go ice fishing because there wasn't any ice. And drilling holes out on the lake, there was about 2 feet of ice. So plenty of ice out there, and all the vehicles were out on the ice as well. So if kids got cold, there was plenty of places for them to go. There was probably a shelter per kid out there. So with that, and Mr. Baker having the fire and the kids cooking lunch over the open flames is a pretty good experience for all of them. Last week at the high school, Tuesday and Wednesday, the high school teams, user groups met with ISG, went over and started to have conversations of what potentially the new space within that CTE wing would look like. And then also when one of the promises was that we were going to repurpose some of the other classroom spaces throughout the high school and bring the classes up from the basement. So we included pretty much every single almost every single area at the high school were part of those meetings, and we looked at repurposing some of those rooms and whatnot. We had, there will be an update of some of those blueprints and the conversations coming forward here in the next couple weeks, and we plan on meeting back with those high school user groups here towards the end of March. Like we indicated earlier, and thanks to Tom's question, Jen and I are working with our directors, administrators on updating the legal recommendations in the Neola policies. An exciting thing is I did send out probably about 65 letters to local businesses looking for potential partnerships as we start to develop our CTE lab. I had my first one this morning, or I should say this afternoon, and I have 6 other ones scheduled. So I'm getting some really good feedback and being able to have some good conversations with people, getting to go tour plants, and it's a good experience in how we can open these things up and be really mutual partners. I want to make sure that we find ways in which how our students can give back to these companies, organizations, whether it be through youth partnerships or when we talk about our kids being college, career, and life ready, what we can do to make sure that when our kids graduates from here, they can help some of our local businesses and some of these partnerships that we're developing along the way. So, other than that, it's been busy, but a lot of fun. And when you look at what the temperatures are like this week compared to what they were last week, we feel much closer to spring right now than we did a week ago at this time. So.
All right, Ryan, thanks for that color commentary. Are there questions for Ryan before we move on? All right, Bob Golnick, do you have a teaching and learning committee update?
Yeah, covered a lot of territory, and Bob and Caitlin and Catherine jump in anything I missed. But Alyssa put together some information on our high school student acceleration options, which include the advanced placement and dual credit courses and early college credit program and Start College Now. So it was useful to hear. Sounds like we have a new AP Computer Science coming on board, so that'll be 5 total AP courses, as well as, she had some data on students participating in the dual credit courses, which was 60% last year with WTC and UWL across kind of a range of disciplines. So positive there. Then we did talk about data sources and some of the Act 20 changes and how that reflects on the benchmarks for reading and math. She's going to present in more detail at a future meeting, but some of the highlights of that, given the screener for K through 3, she gave some of the qualifications of that and how some of the testing procedures might make some of the data appear as if the students aren't doing as well as they are. We also reviewed some of the FastBridge and for ELA as well as math, and there's some useful information there as well. I don't know how much detail we want to go into on some of those things, but do you guys have anything to add?
I think when you look at they switched to Ames in the reading standard, and then they brought up the time when they actually take the reading test. So they might look like more kids are not proficient at their grade level, but like when we looked at FastBridge, we took that reading exam later in the quarter, and now they're taking it almost at the beginning. So there's some discrepancies that you would see in that.
Clarifications on any of that?
Sounds like not. So thanks, Bob. We'll continue on to connection with the community, and item A being board reports by high school student reps. Brennan or Jessa?
I'll start. The wrestling team ended their season at team sectionals last Tuesday in a close match against Menominee. Excuse me. They bounced back on Saturday in the individual sectionals meet where junior Tegan Moore qualified for state in the 106 weight class. The girls' basketball team clinched the Cooley Conference title last Thursday at Luther. They are the 1 seed heading into playoffs, and they will take on the winner of the Toma-Logan game on Friday night at home. The boys' basketball team wraps up their regular season this week with games on Thursday and Saturday. They received the 3 seed for playoffs next week. A group of Mrs. Whitaker's students competed at the annual Job Skills Olympics at Onalaska High School, completing tasks such as shredding paper, folding laundry, and sorting silverware. They took first place for the 4th year in a row, beating 9 area schools.
All right, the show choir team had their last competition of the season in Cedar Rapids this weekend. Vivace and Sing Stations both placed second in their division, and Sing Stations also placed 6th overall in finals and earned both the Jayhawk Award and the People's Choice Award. Both boys and girls hockey teams wrapped up their season in the playoffs last Thursday at Somerset. Last Thursday, Mr. Holter took 6 teams of seniors to the Finance Quiz Bowl at UWL. West Salem ended up having the winning team of Ethan Cruzan, Tom Stenberg, Noah Stewart, and Philip Gabrielson. They will all receive a $500 scholarship from the surrounding financial institutions. Last Wednesday, seniors in the outdoor education class took a trip to Lake Onalaska to do some fishing. Although they did not catch any fish, they had a fun day on the ice and got to do some grilling for lunch. And this week, Monday through Wednesday, there are around 20 high school students competing at the state DECA competition in Lake Geneva. And then the National Honor Society is hosting a blood drive on March 3rd coming up, and about half of the appointments are filled so far. So.
Wow, a lot going on. Do we have any questions for Jessa or Brennan? All right, thank you. Next up is correspondence. We have one thank you tonight. It's from the family of Frank Clements. It says, "It's been 20 years since I retired from from food service, and thank you for the flowers in memory of my family member." And next is public comment at board meetings per board policy 167.3. And we have no one signed up. So we'll move along. The consent agenda includes minutes of the regular board meeting of February 10th, 2025, invoices to be paid, co-curricular recommendations for assistant baseball, softball, track, soccer, tennis, and head boys golf, as well as donations. And our donations to approve tonight are as follows. The Random Acts of Kindness Fund received a donation of $20 from Cynthia and William Innes. The high school trap team received 12 chamois jars, a pint of rust-proof solvent, and 2 packs of gun cleaning patches from Rustproof. The high school family and consumer science education class received a donation of pork valued at $162.15 from Dan Wetzel on behalf of the La Crosse County pork producers. The Unsung Hero Scholarship Fund received a donation of $100 from JLo Homes, LLC. And the Jane Doe Fund received a donation of $2.60 from DPI auditors.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
All right, thank you, Sean. Do I have a second? Second by Caitlin. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, our consent agenda is approved, and next up is to discuss, consider, and take action if appropriate regarding strategic initiatives. Item A being our college, career, and life-ready scholarships. We need some volunteers to review those scholarships, offer some grading, and then come up with the list of winners.
So you can see the rubric and the requirements are within your board packet. Justin Brennan, when are those videos due, or have they already been done?
They were due last Monday,
Okay,
so
so
yeah.
videos have already been submitted. This is a fun time of the year because the board gets to give out scholarships for these, which, just so you know, that the winning videos do get highlighted. The day that these two get to present their Panther portfolio projects, which is how far away?
I think it's May 7th.
Okay, you don't have a countdown yet?
I don't.
Okay, so May 7th, we're almost 2 months away from that. So the winning videos will get presented or be shared there, and then the winners won't be told that they're winners until the fact that when it's on scholarship night. So we need some board members that would want to review those.
What do you figure the time commitment is on that?
Well, the videos, what's the length of the video? 90 seconds?
No, it has to be less than 45 seconds.
Okay, so it's not,
It can depend on how many kids submit videos that meet the criteria that end up in front of us, and they're so good that you'll have to watch them multiple times.
they're fun to watch.
But the overall time commitment, when I've done it in the past, because I've done this probably a half dozen times, I'd say 90 minutes, a couple hours. Yeah.
So Caitlin said that she would.
Bob says yes.
Be good to have at least 3. We need to have at least 3.
Yeah. Sean, Bob, Tom, you can't. Eric's not here. But nice try. You can put me on that list. I'll be the third. All right, so, yeah, we don't need a motion for this. We just needed to have it on here, so we made sure that we had that taken care of. And so next is our list of to-do items and information requests.
Yep, the last time there was a question about understanding Fund 46, and we'll talk about that this evening in our board development session. And the other items are items that we're still working on here a little bit. One update as far as the Wall of Honor. I did have a meeting here last week with the person that did propose that, and they're really looking at that being a Panther portfolio project. And so if something doesn't come to fruition here in the next couple of rounds of seniors coming through, then, we'll have another conversation of how that can come to fruition. But in talking with Mr. Yang, obviously the seniors this year have already picked that Panther portfolio project. So we'll start with next year's juniors, and the person's been very patient, and they think that it'd be of good value if our students took on this project. So they're patient in this thing coming to fruition.
And on the, looking into our insurance benefits, what's the next step, or when will we hear more on that?
Yeah, we did have second rounds of interviews for the insurance benefits here last Friday. We're going to meet back with the Benefits Advisory Committee here Wednesday after school to review those things. With both the finalists that we brought in, we can go anywhere on the realm of being fully insured or being self-insured from the talk from our staff. And I don't want to put the cart before the horse. There are parts of it which I think we are going to start to move in the direction of being more self-insured. And, both of the companies that we spoke with on Friday give us that option. So there'll be an update coming at an upcoming business op meeting of a direction that we're thinking that we're going to go.
Okay, thanks, Ryan. Board, do we have any questions on the action item list or anything else that we want to have added? I'm seeing silence, so with that, this would end our live stream. We'll take a short recess to regroup and then move into board development.